Hey, this is George G. Welcome to George G's Room of Rock. How's everyone doing today? Because I'm doing this early because I think I have to get a better light doing the videos during the day than I do at night with the light behind me. So, anyway, tonight, whenever you're watching this thing, I figured to do something a little different because I'm trying to do a little different things on the channel because I can't just do ranking albums the whole time. So I want to do something a little different. And kind of prompted this little video is the Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, both back in the early 90s, got new singers because both the singers left. Bruce Dickinson left Maiden and Rob Halford left Priest. So I call it the the Dripper Blaze era of the bands, and it's not the most popular one of the bands, and it kind of mirrors each other because they're kind of very similar and to me, not the albums, but kind of how things went down. And they both made two different albums with the different singers. So anyway, I figured I just go through the timeline a little bit with see how they kind of similar with the way things happened and went down. So I'm going to start with Maiden because even though they both left, Rob left Priest and Bruce left Maiden about the same time. Maiden had the output first. So I guess after the Fear of the Dark tour, Bruce decided he had enough and he was leaving. But I think he told them, and I guess he told them in kind of in a nicer way, because they kind of knew that he was leaving. He didn't leave them too high and dry. So I don't know exactly the full story of that, whether he let him, found a replacement, before that. I don't think so, but so then it would say he leaves. And so they look for a singer, and they find Blaze Bayley, who was in Wolfsbane. So, and he's a good singer, and the Wolfsbane's a pretty good band. I've heard stuff by them. I don't own anything by them, but anyway, so he leaves. They find him. They put out their first album in 1995, which is the X Factor here, and people are pretty disappointed with it because they don't think that he fit the band too well. Now, when I first got the album, I was kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of strange. The songs are getting kind of long and I guess a little more progressive, which is kind of the era they're starting to go into. They're going to go into later on when Bruce comes back. But for now, it was a little bit different. And people didn't like the album too much. Or people didn't. Back then, they didn't. Let me put my glasses on for a second here. And actually, the songs on the album aren't bad. They really are pretty good. The album's pretty good now. I don't think it was people like it back then. People have a little more like more affection for it now than they did. But like "Sign of the Cross" is an epic song. They play that still. I love "Man on the Edge," "Fortunes of War," "Lord of the Flies," "Judgment of Heaven," and it's got some good stuff on here. I mean, it's "Blood on the World's Hands" my favorite song on here. And the cover's pretty good. I mean, you got the back cover; it's kind of hard to see it, but it's a good album. It's not one of their best. It's not like too different than what they would go into. But I guess because Blaze is singing it, what they didn't do is they didn't get a Bruce clone. They got Blaze doesn't sound like Bruce, doesn't sound like Paul Di'Anno, and they went with that. Now, I've heard stuff from Blaze singing the Maiden stuff when he was in there, and he does an okay job. It's not like he's bad with it. I mean, people really didn't go see the shows too much because that was the 90s. The way things were in the 90s. Things were bad for metal at the time. So, but he does a good job with the Di'Anno stuff, I think. But the Bruce stuff, he falls a little short, even though it's not horrible. I mean, it's not his fault, though. He's trying to fill pretty big shoes at the time. So people don't give him much of a chance. But over the years, I think, people appreciate this album a little more. So anyway, a couple years go by, whatever. And the only other thing you see after that is if anyone had the Best of the Beast, which I have, there's a song called "Virus" on here with Blaze singing. And it's actually like the song. It's a good song. I mean, I like it. So that's the only thing that came out. And then in 1998, they put out Virtual X or Virtual 10, whatever it is, and yeah, I know. I put my Maiden a ranking of this is the lowest one, but The Eddie's terrible. Probably the worst Eddie they had, in my opinion. I think it's a terrible Eddie. But as far as the songs go, the album, Future Real's a really good song. Angel the Gambler, like I said before, it would be good if it was like 3 minutes long. It's so ridiculous. It's just so long for like so many chorus and the same line over. Like, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, because they can write better songs than this. But I don't know if they were just rushing for it. I don't know. Lightning Strikes Twice was a good song to me. The Klansmen, they still play with Bruce singing, and Bruce does a great job with it. When Two Worlds Collide is good. And then The Educated Fool I like. The other ones, the two, they're okay. They're not bad. But then, this one didn't really do well at all. People really didn't like this one. Now, obviously, if I put it low, but people really hated it. And again, not Blaze's fault, but it is what it is. And then, they finally saw the light, and Bruce decides to come back in 2000. They did for Brave New World, and they've been with him ever since, and it's worked out pretty good for them. But, people just forget the Blaze albums. And I think you should know. My opinion, you should go back, and if you have it or you don't, even if you just like listen to whatever on YouTube music, or even whatever you stream, whatever you do, Apple Music, listen to it again and keep a fresh mind when you listen to it, because it's made like, oh, don't think of it as Iron Maiden now if you don't want to. Think of it as just an album. It's a really good metal, progressive kind of metal album in my opinion. So, and now here's how it mirrors with Judas Priest. Now, around the same time, or even before that, because Maiden put this out pretty, quickly after he left. They, not quickly, but they had a singer going into this. They had no time. They had plenty of time. Not much. They didn't take much time getting a singer. Priest, on the other hand, Rob leaves after Painkiller tour. Leaves Judas Priest. Kind of, I've seen it like by a fax. So he just kind of said, I'm gone. And they just, I guess they were like, really? And like they were probably really shocked that he did, or maybe they knew it was coming. It sounded like they were shocked that he did this, and the way he did it, kind of like, rudely, I guess. So it takes them a long time to go find a singer. And I think they were pretty much going to call it, be done with it. And then I forgot which member of the band saw the Tim Ripper Owens singing in a Judas Priest tribute band. I forgot it was Scott Travis or something. It might have been, or I don't remember who it was. And then they said they'd give it another shot. They asked him to join the band. And, as you know, it's kind of loosely based on the Rockstar movie with that whole situation. So anyway, Priest, and after he left, I think he left 92 or 93 he left, and then in 1997 they put out this album, Jugulator. With Rob gone, they even put a new logo on it. And again, people kind of dismissed it, but what Priest did differently than Maiden is Priest actually found a guy that sounded like Rob. So they wanted almost like a Rob clone, I should say. But Tim's got his own kind of voice. He's come along a long way from now. He's been in so many bands now, it's not funny. I mean, he's got a great voice. He did a good job in Ice Earth. He did a nice job. He did a good job in Yngwie Malmsteen. He's got his own one, Beyond Fear. It's really good. It's a pretty good album. He's got a great voice, and he does so much stuff. The guy's a hard worker. So, again, no fault of his own. But people, I guess, couldn't stay, this isn't Priest without Rob. But this, again, is a good album. I mean, it's kind of takes off where Painkiller left off, and it's a little bit heavier, a little bit faster. Certain spots. Jugulator is a great song. Bloodstain. Dead Meat. Death Row. Burn in Hell. I love Burn in Hell. Brain Dead and Cathedral Spires is a fantastic song. So it really is a good album. And people, I guess, didn't give it a chance. But, again, like the Maiden one, if you don't have this one, give it a chance or just listen to it. Just think of it. It's a good metal album. I mean, yeah, I know it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, maybe the lyrics kind of juvenile, a little silly, but that's what who cares? It's metal. We all have to listen to a little bit of cheese in our music. So anyway, a couple years go by, and then 2001, they put out this one, Demolition, which is not a good album. I don't know why. Just the production doesn't sound good. The songs aren't very. There's a lot of songs on here. There's 13 songs, and Machine Man is okay. 101 is pretty good, and Bloodsuckers I like. Everything else is just kind of, it's okay. It's funny how that, because just like the Maiden one, with this one, the second album just wasn't as good. I don't know if they rushed it or whatever, but same as the Priest one, this wasn't as good. The first one it did was, I thought, by both bands was pretty good. So it's funny how it mirrors that with Priest. But anyway, so then obviously after they decide, okay, well, this isn't working. Rob comes back and Priest moves on, and they do great business. They make some good albums, just like Maiden did, the same thing. So anyway, I think as far as Ripper concerned, he did a really good job live. Because if you don't have this one, if you ever heard this one live, Meltdown by them, this one, he does a really good job live. He really does. I know it's like, well, he's singing a cover song. Well, but at the time, it's a really good live album. They put a lot of, this one has Electric God, Metal Gods, of course, and Grinder, Rapid Fire. Well, they do like the songs from Jugulator on this one. Do Touch of Evil. They do Beyond the Realms of Death. And they do Nightcrawler. Victim of Changes, of course. Green Manalishi. You got another thing coming, of course. And Hellbent for Leather. But they get the standards. But, he did a really good job on singing this stuff live. I think better than Blaze did singing the Maiden stuff. But anyway, people forget it. And you know what thing is with these two, where is it? Oh, these two, where am I? I'm just losing track here. These two right here, is I think they haven't been reissued on CD or vinyl or anything. I think it's time they reissue these for the people, because you can't find them. They're out. They don't even. The band doesn't even acknowledge them. They don't play anything of these stuff live when they probably could do something from the live. I mean, people don't want to hear that. I get it, they don't want to hear it from the Jugulator, but you could do something from Jugulator with Rob singing. I mean, Maiden does the stuff with Blaze live, so why can't Big Priest do the stuff with that Ripper did live? So I think that's a missed opportunity. Just put one song in. I mean, it's not a big deal. But I'm not the band, But anyway, I thought this was kind of funny how they both kind of, they both leave at the same time and they both come back. Maybe not the same time, because Bruce comes back to Maiden in about 2000, and Rob comes back 2004 to Priest. So I think Ripper was in the band, maybe a little longer than Blaze was in Maiden, but I'm not really sure the years about that worked. But anyway, I thought I'd make a little video on that because I thought it was kind of cool the way they did that, and I think those two albums, especially like I said, and I'll say it again and again, if you haven't these two albums, listen to them with fresh ears, and really give them a chance, because you might be surprised. Don't think of them as Priest albums or maybe Iron Maiden album, but think of it as a metal album. And look at it and go into it like that. But anyway, that's my video. I hope someone enjoyed it. And I mean, people kind of know the story with this anyway. I just wanted to kind of like move a little, not a rant, but I don't like calling it rant. It's kind of just what my thoughts on it. So anyway, that's the video. So I hope someone liked it. And I hope you guys have a great day or night, whenever you're watching this. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and keep metal and rock alive. See you next time.